Hi everyone, welcome to Workday Gourmet. Today we're talking about Temu, a platform for dirt cheap bargains and random kitchen gadget that a reasonable person probably doesn't need, but they're weird. I was curious, so I said yes, send me the freebies.
This is a heat diffuser and induction adapter. It prevents fragile cookware from cracking and lets you use any material on induction cooktop. If you're new to induction cooking, it uses a magnetic field to heat the cookware itself rather than the stove surface. It's more energy efficient, but comes with the downside that only cookware that pass the magnet test will work on the cooktop, which in practice becomes frustrating because seemingly highly comparable nonstick pans with stainless steel exterior could have different induction compatibility. The adapter allowed me to use all my aluminum pans as well as non-metal cookware like glass and ceramic. The heating mechanism will be through conduction, but without the gap of the stove, heat still transferred very fast and evenly. I started my glass pot on my induction cooktop because I trusted it to be more evenly heated than my gas stove. I was worried enough about glass exploding to have my goggles ready and locked out my dog just in case. I first learned about heat diffusers when I was shopping for a tagine to make use of all my preserved lemons. Many reviews reported cracking and suggested heat diffusers, with some claiming even heat diffusers didn't save their beautiful tagine. I shied away and bought a cast iron one just to be safe. I wanted to test the heat diffuser on the equally fragile but significantly cheaper glass pot before risking the expensive stuff. After some confidence building, I decided to move the hot glass over to my gas stove and dial up the heat. The heat diffuser performed truly respectably over uneven high heat. I was able to bring my tea to a rigorous boil without any issue, which is very encouraging. Although having received my surprisingly well-made cheap ceramic pot from Temu, I question if I should be spending premium prices on stoneware that can't hold up under heat. In my mind, a good clay pot worth its salt should always hold up over fire, directly and consistently. If you start with slow heat and slowly warm them up, a good quality stoneware should be able to cook on medium-high heat with no problem. For those of you who are new to stoneware cooking, think of them as lighter cast irons that are just as good in heat retention, used for centuries all over the world. I have spent an unreasonable amount of money on premium cast iron brands that look so pretty, but I think for stoneware, I might just take reliable Chinesium over safety hazard fancy stuff. By the way, Chinesium is like the most flattering insult ever. You know what my alma mater had to go through to make Californium and Berkeleyum a thing? I mean, the name's like comically sciencey and futuristic. Dude who came up with it had some subconscious respect there. I really like this economy clay pot for single-serve shabu-shabu, so much that I bought a slightly bigger and much bigger version with my own money. The prices are shockingly close if you get them on sale. One last thing that I wanted to pressure test are these Siphon coffee makers, which I've been eyeing since seeing them in anime as a child. They come with a metal stand, dual glass pot, and an alcohol lamp. The glass chambers are tightly fit for the siphon suction to work. The top chamber also comes with a lid to complete the look and keep out the dust. It's not used in active brewing, nor does it fit the lower chamber. The pots are detachable, so when the brewing completes, you can remove the upper chamber and serve from the lower chamber while it's attached to the handle stand. The lower chamber is clamped directly to the stand, while the upper chamber just rests on it. Make sure you clamp it firmly because you will get some rigorous boiling from the alcohol lamp, which comes with a stopper cap, wick with ceramic ring, and glass alcohol holder. Low tech and foolproof, or so I thought. See if you can pick up how I used it wrong. You'll need to buy denatured alcohol for this. Don't waste good drinking liquor on it. Your 80 proof vodka is only 40% alcohol by volume. The fuel stuff is 190 to 200 proof. They won't burn the same. And a little actually goes a long way. I probably should have gotten an 8-ounce bottle that would have been a lot easier to pour than my quart-sized tin. This comes with a reusable cloth filter weighed down by a metal chain, as well as a stirring pedal and measuring spoon. Now we're ready to observe my learning curve on using this setup. I started with hot water from my electric kettle. Even then, it actually took quite a while for the pressure to build up enough to fill the upper chamber, so I let my guards down until the bottom chamber is getting too much heat that the bubbling started to rock the whole setup. I scrambled to remove the heat lamp to stabilize everything and toss in the coffee grounds. Before I could even give it one stir, the whole thing lost pressure fast and fell down before any reasonable extraction could have gone through. The color looked so off, I did what is probably sacrilege and put the lamp back under. Waited for the pressure to build up again, and somehow learned nothing from the first time and still let the heat rock the whole thing. I was able to squeeze in a couple of stirs and got some reasonable extraction. Supposedly, the dome shape of the grounds is what coffee shops look for in good extractions. I guess it can be accidentally achieved. I then way overestimated the danger and difficulty of pulling apart the glass chambers. These fire pit gloves are way over the top and hadn't been used again for coffee in my household. You can get quite a few cups from this small globe, although 5 Japanese cups are about 3 American cups tops. If you've bought the pour-over cones, you know the drill. I even got some residual grounds from rocking the filter. Would you believe it if I tell you the coffee from this epic failure actually tasted really good? Obviously, I had to try again. This time with the lamp set up right, so the flame is concentrated and not being blown left and right by my AC vent. Did you catch that mistake from my first try, or did your science education fail you too? I also have my coffee grounds ready this time, so I won't be fumbling around when the water is bubbling. This time I also let the lower chamber heat until I can see steam and small bubbles. It still took about half a minute for the water levels to start rising on the upper chamber, a minute and a half for it to reach peak level, and another 30 seconds for the pressure to drop and complete the brew. So with hot water, this is about a 3-minute brew. By no means a replacement for your K-cup machines, which makes undoubtedly inferior coffee in my mind, but weekday coffee isn't for enjoyment, it's for survival. This is for a good weekend cup that lets you combine the robust extraction of a French press with the smoothness of a pour-over. It looks so attractive on the counter, I didn't want to put it away, which in turn made me use it more. With practice, it actually becomes an enjoyable process. I fully plan on inviting all my guests to brew their own siphon coffee. It'll be super fun to see how everybody else react to this gadget on their first try. It also makes for a great gift at a reasonable price. Next up, I'm looking to cool down a little with this instant ice maker, which is the first thing I've received on Temu that didn't come in a beat up bag. Turns out, if you order from their quote local warehouse, not only does it ship faster, it's also packed by US industry standard. I started seeing these ice makers at Costco a year or two ago, and Temu sells them for half the price. I have long wanted to try one for no good reason other than pure curiosity. This little thing is supposed to make your ice on demand with no planning ahead. Fresh tasting ice, by the way, that hadn't been sitting in the freezer for weeks. I know this is probably the most first world problem you've heard all week. But if you've had old ice with weird freezer taste, you know what I'm talking about. My mother's LG fridge started making really gross ice this year. It's apparently a known issue according to Reddit, and we tried everything possible to debug it, to no avail. The rest of the fridge is fully functional, so it doesn't make sense to spend a couple of grand to replace the whole fridge just for the ice maker problem alone, which makes this the perfect summer gift. Every 6 minutes, the compressor churns out 9 bullet ice. I don't know that I'd use this to fill up a party cooler. I think giant ice bags from grocery stores still make more sense. This is ideal for people with limited freezer space who don't use ice all that frequently, but would like the option of having a nice margarita party on a whim. It's not magically fast at 6 minutes per batch, but just 2 to 3 cycles should make you enough ice for most recipes. And keep in mind it just keeps going and doesn't require any active work. 9 bullets at a time really adds up. You can easily have enough ice for the whole night. Last thing I tried was this Fruit wine press. Quite a bit cheaper than its Amazon counterpart, made me the best cold pressed juice I've ever tasted, and my toddler loves cranking it. But to be honest, this is the one product that gave me the most mixed feelings. Half of it is probably my own fault. See, because of the farmhouse looks and idea that you can just press grapes with it and make wine, I thought I could have just cut a fresh pineapple into chunks and cold press it into juice. Well, it turns out fresh pineapple chunks are much too hard to press. I had to blend it and put it into a nut milk bag, which, to be fair, worked very well. One pineapple gave me 800 milliliters of pure juice, and again, it was hands down the best pineapple juice I've ever tasted. But it bothers me that I have to wash a blender when I'm already using a juicer, and it was a little clunky to turn. Not a deal breaker, just not as smooth as I imagined. It did manage to get a really dry pulp, so this might be more useful as a cheese press for squeezing water out of ricotta for cannoli or gnudi. I will probably still use it to press juice on special occasions because that fresh pineapple juice was truly unforgettable. But that could be more to that pineapple's credit than this gadget's. Now, aside from the most recent freebies, I have actually gotten a lot of Temu stuff in the past on my own. Some of the stuff are actually highly comparable to Amazon, for which Temu is, in my opinion, certainly no substitute, but could be a supplement. My personal takeaway is Murphy's Law everything. Anything that can bend and warp probably will. So go with bamboo and silicone that can take a beating through rough shipping. Anything that can be flimsy and ugly, oh boy. So go with ceramic and glassware that comes with a default floor on sturdiness and attractiveness. Do price shop. Even on the same platform, prices vary. Don't get sucked into the coupon games if you just need one or two things. But if you're buying upwards of $30 to $40, there are almost certainly freebies that you can get. If you had fun watching the gadget test or found any of the tips helpful, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you're interested in frugal foodie content. Have fun bargain hunting